always good. Always good when we can get to this point in our riding and say, no, everything feels good. I love it. All right, so I don't think you were in here. You were probably checking up when I was telling Tammy I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, and if any of them don't make sense, let me know. There may be some number scales going on. Don't let the math scare you. But if you can't put a number on something, I might ask you a percent out of 100 or what's on a scale of 1 to 10. You can always say more or less, or I don't know is also acceptable. Because if you really don't know what's happening in that part of your body, guessing is probably less accurate than telling me I'm not sure, because that gives me information. And if I'm going down the rabbit hole of a certain image or picture and you're like, that doesn't resonate, tell me, because I've got enough other ideas. All right. Anything particular that brings you in front of me today that you're like, this is the thing we really need help with, or that I want focus on?
Probably forward energy is the main principle with
Okay.
her, and she tends to go behind the bit a little bit.
Okay. All right.
When we try to do collection or connection, I should
Yes,
say.
good. All right. Okay, well, walk on, and I'm going to just watch you walk a little bit here in a circle both ways.
She does not know how to relax her head down as a walk.
Okay, well, hopefully I can help her figure that out.
Are you supposed to go through the diagonal?
And we can see, based on her posture, right? And I'm specifically calling posture, not conformation. So she's a little low in her back, right? And tense in the base of the neck. And those two things we now know go together, right? That if there's tension in the base of the neck, there will be tension in the psoas, the iliopsoas complex of the horse, which is that hollowing behind the saddle. So it's almost for the rider like you're stuck sitting in a hammock and you can't quite get out. Because you're in a low place, because her back just wants to be there. So sometimes it's a challenge of how do we balance ourselves sort of over this hammock. Like, you guys, getting out of a hammock is never a graceful thing, right? We're rolling out of it. And so, oh, look, already she's going, I could maybe start to reach for the contact. So as we kind of change how you're supporting yourself relative to her body, hopefully we can help her body change also, right? All right, so I'm just going to want you to do a circle here to the left. And one of the challenges that often comes up is, the language that we've used for generations to teach people how to ride. And somebody's going to tell you, oh, your horse is not forward enough, use your, quote, seat. Well, do they actually mean push and shove your seat bones back and forth? Probably not, but what else are we supposed to do, right? So it's like, oh, I got to use my seat to get the horse going. But she's like, la, 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 I don't care, right? So here as you walk, just notice, here's the question, are you moving your seat bones or is she moving them? Okay, can you let that go? And in a way, this is going to sound like I want you to almost just let your bum be a passenger for a minute, and try not to move your seat bones to move her legs. So your seat bones will still be moved, but already she's like, well, I could reach my neck down. Good. Have any of you ever had little kids sit on your shoulders? Right? If you have a kid sit on your shoulders and they're quiet, it doesn't bother you. If they sit up there and they squirm around and get wiggly, you're like, get down. You are the kid sitting on her shoulders. So we really want to create stability in a way that allows her, hopefully, to think about her body in a new way, right? So that we can connect her hind end through her middle, which is a little bit the part that doesn't want to work, to the front. So go ahead and pick up trot rising, and we'll see what we get here in the trot. And you can go the whole arena, you can circle, whatever helps her is not there. So one of the things that I think is a challenge when we deal with horses that want to be behind the leg is we talk a lot about how, they have to use their hind end, or they have to lighten the forehand. But what are we saying about their middle? Right? next diagonal from H, or from F, change rein back to H. So as you're in the trot right now, Barbara, can you tell me how your weight's distributed in the tap from thighs to feet? What percent would you say is in your feet in the stirrups versus your thighs?
50-50.
Okay. Does it feel equal left foot versus right foot?
No.
Which foot that?
Right.
Okay. And did you say your name is Glitter or Glimmer?
Glitters.
Glitters.
Glitters going wild.
Glitters going wild. So circle here.
I don't know.
Yep, that's okay. And so there are moments when she starts to give you a little surge forward, and what actually happens is your bum goes a little bit too far back. Yeah, and then she's like, how about it's funny, it's a little bit like she's behind your leg and running away at the same time, right? So it's like her forehand wants to run away from you and not stay in trot, but her backhand a little bit wants to stay out behind. Okay, now I know, honey, it's hard. So just let her have a little bit longer rein for one more circle, and yeah, good girl. And then we're gonna come back to the walk for a moment, and I'm gonna have you come and halt parallel to your video, because this will give you the best, probably turn around so you're not facing into the sun, and you can halt over here, right after H. So, you know, right now, her posture isn't helping you, right? And you're like, I'm up here trying to help you, Glitters. And hopefully I can help you do that, right? Yep, that's fine. Good call. See, honey, we're going to help you. I have some new muscles to use. You might not be on board with it right away. Okay, are you comfortable with me putting my hands on you? Anything that if I'm moving you think is going to cause you pain? Okay. Go ahead and take your feet out of stirrups for a minute, so don't hang. And I'm going to just come behind you here, girl. Do your seat bones feel even at the moment, or is one more clear than the other?
Left is down more.
Okay, and so I think what's really happening is that yes, you're too far to the right, yeah? So, so what's interesting is a lot of people don't realize that whichever seat bone you feel more, often is the seat bone that's actually closer to the horse's spine. And so I think what you had done there a little bit was go, oh, my left seat bone's more down, but then your right one is a little more up, but also a little more to the right.
Okay.
Okay? Do you feel like she has an easier direction one way versus the other?
I don't really know.
That's okay. That's fine.
But I think that's just because I'm not aware.
That's all right. I mean, I think ideally, when we like classify horses as, oh, left is so much easier than the right, we're not gonna live into that, right? Okay, so I'm gonna take her like one at a time, just like the other one, leave it hang where it is, and just try to let this be as dead weight as you can, and I'm gonna move around and put it back on the saddle. All right, so this gives me a sense of what your leg feels like one versus the other. And we have a very heavy and tight right leg. Good, so we got good range of motion. I do think your calf wants to grip a bit, and that happens a lot when we have a horse who doesn't really want to go. So I want to internally rotate that thigh a little bit more. I'm going to bend your knee, put that foot in. Good, and really try to just let the foot rest. Your heel is down enough.
Okay.
You don't have to actively push it down any farther. And this part of your leg, you know, challenge for you, you have a shorter leg, and she is rounder, way down low.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really tempting for your leg to hold on here. Notice what that did to your thigh. Just took your thigh off. So I want you to keep your thigh on and really feel like this is the part of you that's going to tell her to go. Not this down here. You know, you save your spur for the moment that you might need it. So push your ankle a little bit toward my hand here. Yeah. Feel that kind of fire up the outside line. Yeah. So that then when you need to kick, you can go, hey, right? Wake up. If this starts to become too much of a low drone, she just turns it off. Right? She's like, I'm good at that. I know. Pretty cool.
I wish you would get a little excited on the return.
Well, you know, at this point, lazy's better than crazy, right? Okay, so let's interesting is to me, this leg already feels heavier than the other one. You know, this is just, you know, we all have our asymmetries. Currently, I'm dealing with my right thigh when we do too much rotated in, and I'm like, well, this is my knee. So we're gonna rotate that in. Put this foot in. And so this is the foot that you said wanted to feel a little too heavy, right?
I know that this whole side is stronger than this side.
Yeah, that there's a little bit more like heft and weight to it. And it, you know, I sometimes try to stay away from those labels of strong or weak because sometimes it's a short, long, or sometimes it's just, you know, whatever. But if you were going to kick a ball, would you kick it with your right foot or your left foot? Yeah, so really your left leg is your stability leg because you would kick the ball with your right foot, right? So it may mean that your left leg has less dexterity, right? That the right leg does the things because you have a better mind-body connection to it because you're right-handed, right? So just interesting ways to think about that. So from your right knee to your left knee, the underneath of you, like where your full seat would be if your breeches are full seat, this is the whole connection through your seat, right? That when if we're talking about, you know, use your seat, I think most of the times we're actually saying use your core, engage your core. And, you know, not to throw a whole gender under the bus, but like we've been taught riding from generations of men to generations of men to women, and we are not the same, right? So when you need her to go, what's really happening in this part of you? So there's a couple options here. It could be sucking in, oh sorry. It could be sucking in, it could be hanging out, or it could be engaging. So here's what I want you to do. Pull your tummy in, make your zip and tight purchase. Now cough or clear your throat. Cough? Yep. Okay, so you how that pushed against my fingers? That's good. You have a good push. So we need to have a wall and a push. And that does actually require breathing still. Right? So it's keeping your diaphragm down. So now on purpose, suck your breath in and up. All right, feel how that lifts you. Let that go. Good. So we want your center of gravity low but strong. Okay? And I want you to go, as you stand here, I want you to stand up into like a rise moment of your eyes and try to stay up. Okay? That's good. Like you're getting a good distance out of the saddle, your thigh is almost to vertical, and now barely land. And rise up again. Oh yeah, that's hard, right? So when you went to land, you kind of went to put your tailbone too far out behind you. So stand up again. Bring your whole torso back down. And rise again. So when you go to bring the whole torso back on, keep the weight in your thigh, not in your foot. But we see how it wants to go back in your foot. Rise again. Foot light, foot light, foot light. Sit. Yes. Good. Rise again. Sit again. So you feel, I'm pushing you here for a reason, because I want you to feel when we go back to rising trot that this is where your power comes from. It wants to come from your feet, right? So we're going to let your brain allow your knees to be a usable part of equipment, right? That really, the hinge point of your rising is over your knee, right? So your thigh works like a windshield wiper. And you're doing a good job of getting up, but then it's hard to support your weight when you go back down. So stand up again. Good. And you can land your bum, feeling like it lands closer to the collar. Yeah. And rise again. And sit again. Good. And rise. And sit. And when we go back to trot, I'm probably going to remind you that I want you to think of landing almost on the pommel. Partly because her back is low, and she is, like, gravity is going to convince you to land with your bum too far behind your feet. You're the one putting her there, honey. So if your bum lands behind your feet, then the next rising is more Herculean effort to get out of the hollow. And so here's another misnomer that we've said for, you know, decades in riding, is you have to, quote, drive them forward, right? But in terms of physics, like, we are in front of the hind legs. The only place we can drive them is farther back. We can draw them forward, right? So as you go back to trot, we're going to think about really focusing on your pelvis coming up over the withers and feeling like you really do draw her hind leg forward in the rise and control the sit and draw her hind leg forward in the rise, okay? Yes, it's not easy. And I mean, the worst case scenario is you're gonna land a little too far back, you might land heavier than you want, right? We know you know how to post, but sometimes changing the mindset of how we post is really hard. So you can go whichever way you choose, left or right, doesn't matter to me. And you know, you had a good engagement of the low core when I put my fingers there. So I may gonna ask you to clear your throat or cough while you're riding or make some noise. That helps keep A, breath moving so you're not holding your breath and tightening up. And B, it really helps you to engage the core. All right, little miss, let's trot on. And I don't care about her neck right now. Really, I want you to give her whatever length of rein you're comfortable with and just close your fingers. So we're gonna take really bring the pelvis forward and up, forward and up, forward and up. Yep. Good. I want you to think of rising bigger than you think is necessary. So you go more up and forward, up and forward, up and forward. Really feel like your thighs are supporting. Okay, so she's like that forward. That's fine. Go back to drop. We are not going to say no if she offers you forward. So I want you to imagine you are landing as close to the pommel as possible. I promise you I've never actually had anyone crash into the pubic bone on the pommel. So think of the pubic bone going like up the hill of the twist of the saddle. Good. And close the fingers at whatever length of rein they're at. You can let her have a longer one, right? Yes, this girl's good. Oh, good girl. So if she starts to drop her neck down, just stay present in the bridle. So you don't go, oh, good girl, and then let go, right? Fingers stay closed all the way. Like, I think the holding a bird is outdated because I think in America we think baby birds are really fat and we don't close our hands enough. So here's the new rule. Close your hands like there's loose diamonds in there. And if you dropped them in the sand, Sue would find them and run away with all your money. So close those fingers, good. But if you grip them too tight, they cut your gloves. Yes. Good. Go straight ahead again down the next long side. Very good. Very good, girl. Keep the fingers closed. Keep the thighs on. I heard a wow over here from somebody. So like, you just got a wow already, right? Change weight on the next diagonal. So it's less about pushing her from your calf and more about showing her with your own expression of energy in your rising trot how freely forward she could go. Which is definitely a different mindset when we're dealing with a horse who's like, oh, look at her go across the diagonal. Good girl. She's close. And now we're going to go push. By the way, I love a person who changes their pose by standing an extra beat. That's a wonderful thing. That's great. So now, in the circle, pushing the hands a millimeter toward her mouth, right? This is not, you guys are the ones I wish I work with, because I think most of us tend to throw everything away. Good. Keep landing as close to the pommel as you can. Look at her track up. This is work inside your own brain, right? Work inside your own body, but you're having to work a lot less to get your horse to go, right? Good girl. Fingers have to stay close. And you push that hand toward the bit just an inch. That's okay. She was like, I saw you move your right hand. Did that mean we're going to tap? Thighs stay on, foot light. And it's okay to think of your foot being a little bit farther back. Good girl. Good girl. Keep exhaling like you're blowing sweet nothings into her ears. Good. That's okay, right? I'm not mad at that. I want you to go forward. Go ahead and transition down the walk and give her a long rein and a little pat. I mean, that whole bit of trot work, she was absolutely tracking up, right? What feels different to you in your body right now? Okay? You guys can see a difference though, right? I mean, everybody's nodding, right? So I think what is different is how you're posting, the energy in which you're posting, which has a lot to do with how you're balancing over your thigh relative to your foot. So when you first started, your bum was landing farther behind you and your feet were actually probably heavier than you realized. Yes. And so now, I want you to feel like you keep those thighs narrow, right? They are supporting you in the down. Because I think before, your post was probably a little smaller than what you're doing now, right? Yeah. So getting into the post with more thrust, more energy moving forward, clearly brought our hind legs along to the party, right? to trot in this place,
Yeah.
which is okay, right? Because I love the change. Even right now, look at her. She's like, I could put my neck down. What'd you say about me not putting my neck down, Mom? Right? Okay, so I am going to have you do a little exercise with your hands here, because this is also really a normal thing for us to do when the horses don't want to go forward, is we sort of want to let go, right? We want to like let them go forward, okay? So here's my super fancy trick to help people with their hands. Tap cleaning sponges. I'm going to take your whip because I think it'll be easier for you not to have it right now. So close your hand on the reins. And I really want you to feel like this thumb, these are great thumbs, has a bend in it. So really, your thumb knuckle should have a bend.
Okay.
So that helps prevent this. So see how soft the tissue is there?
Yeah.
If I go flat, it's now hard. So that's already giving you a rigid feel to her mouth here at your fist. So then we're going to just tuck that thumb in there. And take that one too. So ideally, you can have, it doesn't matter how small your hands are, that you can hide that sponge from us. Nobody wants to know it's there. I had one lady who, when I gave her these sponges, the horse literally at the halt, well, she's about to do it, the horse went on the bit, just because she closed her hand. So what we're really trying to do here is complete the circuit. Right? You know, we're sending her hind legs forward, over the back, it goes to the bridle, it comes back to your body. And if she goes, hey, I'm going to put my neck down, you just maintain your connection. I know, right? You're a smart girl. She's a noticer. You know? She's a little bit like, I'm not sure I really need to do what you're asking me. But she notices that things are different. So, as we go, I want you to really feel like you're allowed to have a little bit of a squeeze feeling on that sponge, right? And ideally, again, the knuckle in that thumb is staying bent. So that really helps connect the muscle chain up the front of your body, all the way to your pecs, which maybe have taken a little bit of a nap. So in this, I want you to think of closing your armpits more at the back of your vest than the front. So, good girl. So now, you've put together the recipe of on the bit here at the halt without us talking about putting her on the bit, right? So you just did that in your body. So now when you go to ask her to walk on, you have to keep all of the structure you have right now. So really, what do you do to say walk on? You can go a little bump with your leg and feel that little bit of that engagement of the core to say, okay, go a little forward. Yeah, and the leg comes right off, right? So while you're holding the sponges, I acknowledge that adjusting the rein gets a little bit awkward because you're like, I don't want to drop the sponge. So you have permission if you need to shorten or lengthen the rein as we go. You know, obviously I want you to feel like you can still steer and be in charge, but the biggest deal here is really, again, noticing what's happening in you. Like, this is great. Good girl. Good girl. So she's going, hey, if I go to the contact, is it still going to be there? But if she goes to the contact and your fingers open, it drops a bit lower on her tongue. And she's like, well, I guess that was in the right place, you know? Good girl. All right, let's go to trot on. And I don't care if it doesn't feel like a super big trot, right? Good. I want you to think land light and land as close to the pommel as you can. Good girl. And if you feel like she's getting slow, partly I think she might want to, but I want you to go into bigger thrust in your posting and like clear your throat or growl or make some sort of low kind of noise. Gotta find your own inner sumo wrestler here. Good. Good. And look at this horse just want to reach for contact. I mean, this is the name of the game, right? You will never hear me standing in the middle of the arena saying, on the bit, more around, right? Because we can get the horse there when we fix you. Good job. So, yes, is she getting a little slow? Go down the long side. Give me a nice big thrust when you're rising. And go all the way down. Feeling like you're, again, risking that you land on top of the withers. And being careful not to land with your bum out behind your feet. gotta sit on the front edge of it and not let your bum fall in. And it really is so much bringing your pelvis forward and up with your quads. Yes, good. Go all the way around the ring again. Keep going forward and up, forward and up. And without a stick, she's tracking up 100%, right? Keep the right foot lighter here because you're pushing energy up your right thigh toward your pelvis. So the right foot does want to get heavier when you go right. Good girl. Find a little noise, go or psh. Yeah, and that noise you made was a very high up in your chest sort of noise. A lot of people do go, so you kind of made a little, right? That's a chesty breath. I want you to make a manly growl. Yeah, because that gets your core going. Good. Circle here. Push the hands toward the bit. Keep your armpits connected. So remember, it's not a letting go. It's ascending. Yes. Good girl. And now we can see her forehand is more up as she's reaching forward. Right? Another circle like that. Keep doing it. Thighs on. You land over the withers. You have the hands closed, armpits closed in the back of your vest, but this push forward energy to the bit. Yes. Good. And look at her forehand, like swinging now instead of heavy and down. Good girl. All right, you get a little walk break, ladies. Okay, so tell me about the, oh my goodness, what's that about? What does it feel like? What are you having to do?
What am I having to do to make a rock?
No, to just keep her going like that in the trot.
Keeping my thumbs bent, my hands closed.
Yeah.
My shoulders back.
And interesting, so I'm bringing this up only for the education of the group, right? That's the problem when you run in a clinic like this, is like we have to have a little chat. So I didn't say shoulders back, you did, which is okay, right? But most of us, if we are told shoulders back, if we're in this little bit of sort of collapse front or whatever word you want to put on it, are like, I'm in the computer, I'm on my phone, whatever, all day long. Shoulders back for a lot of people is going to get you to do this. So you opened your collarbone, or you brought your shoulder blades together, or you closed your arms to the back. It worked, right? But if you go shoulders back, I think you could get into too hollow of a place, yeah. But look at that, I mean, she's like, oh, I want contact. All right, what else? Anything else feel different or that you're noticing?
Well, I'm trying to like keep weight on my thighs
Yes.
and my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm working really hard here to go forward.
Does it look like she's working really hard to get her to go forward? Not at all. Your work, well, here's the deal. Here's the unfortunate truth. That is a misnomer. I really think. Because if the horse is posting for you, like we're told sort of like, let the horse push you out of the saddle. If the horse only wants their hind leg to do this much, you're only going to post this much. But if you can show them that their hind leg could do this much by the way you post, it's a lot of work inside of your body. But what we're not seeing is you working hard against her. You're not up there having a kick, really. I mean, you're working to post, without a doubt, right? It's an Olympic sport, folks, right? Like, no matter what level we compete at, right? There's this internal effort that I think a lot of us have been sort of have the wool pulled over our eyes a little bit, that like, oh, the horse should do the work, because we say things like that. But as you did the work, man, was she going better, right? Do you like your sponges?
I like them, I'm keeping them.
Well, I mean, I almost brought my whole bag of them. I have like 4. You can keep them for now. I will totally let you do that. And this is something to know, like you may see me over the weekend using different bands and tools and things. This is about the only thing I will let people keep for a longer period of time. Whether it's Franklin balls or using a resistance band or whatever. Those typically we do for short bursts, a couple of minutes at most. Because I don't want to overdo things, right? But this is such a good sensory awareness thing.
It is, it is a reminder.
Yeah, and it's super cheap, and hopefully most of us have them around in the barn.
I do have them around, they're close up.
Okay.
Okay, my question though,
Yes.
when you put your hand towards her mouth, that brings my armpits.
Okay, so let's halt and let's investigate. That's a good question. So, push your hands into mine. Yeah, and you can push quite strongly, right? She's like, should I go on the bit? I love when the horse asks the question, is this on the bit? Is this what you want, right? So that's why I often say like a millimeter or two, right? It's a push forward again, push, all right, into me, all right, really push. Yes, so that's still, you can push your elbows forward a little bit, but you can do that without sort of throwing your whole shoulder girdle into the mix, yeah? All right, so let's go see a little canter with the sponges. And I want you to still think in the canter that we're trying to keep your foot a little lighter. So I said that to you as you're going around in the trot this direction. On purpose right now, just jam your heel down really hard. And notice how that kind of affects your hip, right? It pushed your seat bone up a little bit. And it really does take the weight out of your thigh. So now think of lightening your foot. Good, I say this all the time, I can't make you lighter, or I'd be skinny and a billionaire, but I can make you carry your weight differently, right? So keeping your thigh on at the risk that it feels too much. And I think with this saddle, like this is a close contact saddle, you can get your leg on, right? And we don't really always process that as this part of your leg, right? So here, do this, just stick your index and middle finger in there and pull your thigh toward the saddle, yeah. So you can have your thigh that on. And you can switch hands and do the other side if you want. So what we're getting there is not squeeze the thighs in, right? But it's rotate your thigh bones. Your knees will feel closer together. Your knees will feel more on the horse. But we're not doing that from the adductor muscles going squeeze. All right? Okay, little miss. We're going to go glittery in the canter. Yeah, did you have a question?
I have another horse that scoops a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I tend the saddle actually slides into this.
Because your right thigh is not keeping you centered. So your left thigh is maybe a little more active, but all the weight tends to go into your right foot. So I know that it's coming out of your right thigh. Because that's a closed system, right? If it's in your foot, it's not in your quads. And really that's where, here's me in a good balance point, like I would invite anyone over here to try and pull me off of my balance point, and you can't. But if I go too much heels down, like you could knock me over in a second. So heel down is not wrong, but if you let that take over and get weight out of your quads, then you're balancing over the wrong part of your foot. And then you're a little bit always kind of trying to find where your center is over your horse. And I would tell you this even over a fence, that like I can go from here's my thighs on, I can close my hip angle and go to a jumping position. Is there more weight in my heel right now on the floor? Yes, but not because I'm jamming it down, because that would stick my butt out. You can see enough of that in the hunters today, right? All right, so let's go to canter one more time, whichever way you want to go. She's like, I thought the next horse was here. So your leg never came off. So now, if you won't go, you have to go bump and come off. Yeah? And she doesn't listen because she's not paying attention. She's like, who's over there? Bend your neck a little left. Just take a little left, right? Say hello. There we go. All right, now welcome. She's like, but someone else is here. What's happening with the trailer? And the low core is really part of the go button. So that if you feel like the horse, is not, her ears are totally pricked. She was like, I'm not paying attention to anything except the fact that there's suddenly a trailer over there that I noticed. So again, if you need to shorten the reins, you can shorten the reins.
Okay, so should I do it how I am comfortably telling her to canter in cross country, or should I do it the way my instructors all tell me to do it, which is I'm not very good at?
Well, tell me what's the difference. What makes you feel comfortable? So right there, you pushed your right seat bone right. You didn't do it intentionally, but I saw your right seat bone go right. So just be aware of that, right?
I just start acting like I'm cantering, and then the horse canters. That's how I'm comfortable doing it. First, my instructors say I should sit down, and then signal, and then.
So, I don't use the word sit down, but I also, again, don't want your seat bones being the go button. We have to really make make sure that she knows that your inside leg primarily is the go button. Look at her, she's already going, should I go in the bed, guys? Should I go in the bed? Good girl.
Okay.
So, yeah, beautiful.
So that's how I normally do it comfortably myself.
And right now, your seat is way off to the right, whether you realize it or not. And you can stay in a half seat if you want, that doesn't bother me. But I want you to think of your zipper line, pubic bone to belly button, has to actually rotate slightly right here. Your head wants to turn right, yeah. And your pelvis does not. So I'm glad you chose right here, Andrea, because I would not have seen this on left lead so much. So, really overdue. I still want your eyeballs looking over her ears, but can you overdo, look at me a sec, pelvis to the inside. So like, yes, absolutely. It is gonna feel like you have to turn your pelvis toward 2 o'clock on the clock face, because it's actually stuck somewhere over by 11.
And you want me to be not sitting or sitting?
That's up to you. I don't mind if you stay in half seat. If you want to sit, it might help you feel it better. Where the right seat bone is. Close the fingers. You've still got sponges. So the right leg is the go button. The inside leg says go. And now really think. Aim your zipper to the right. Aim your pubic bone to the right. Yes. Okay. Now we have a right seat bone and a horse who starts to go to the contact. Yeah. Good girl. Feet light. Thighs on. Zipper to the right. We're going to feel like your right thigh goes up into your pelvis more because we're taking weight out of your... That's a good girl. Good girl. Super. And go to trot. This, I'm sure, feels crazy weird, right? Because it's so completely different than what your normal posture is. Close the fingers and rotate the pelvis right. And ask for canter again. Sit, inside leg says go. You can make a little psh noise. Yeah. Right seat bone has to sort of climb the cliff of her right long back muscle and get up toward her spine. Yes, yes, good. Because her right hind a little bit wants to hang out too far to the right. Go back to trot again. Good girl. Good girl. It's harder to keep the sponges when you're cantering, isn't it? It was not hard to keep them in trot. Oh, good girl, keep the fingers. I love this for her. Keep rising, and I want you landing light, and feel even now after the canter, feel like you're having to aim your zipper to the inside ear of the horse, right? So your head wants to turn a lot, your seat bone maybe wants to slip right. Good. Aim the pelvis to the right. Yeah. Good. And I can tell you that is part of the posture that must make your saddle go right on your other horse.
Yeah.
That this is a pelvis thing going on, which we will perhaps dig more into tomorrow. Go ahead and come back down to walk. So I'm going to give you a little bit of sort of awareness homework for while you're sitting in the chair the rest of the day, at dinner, at home, wherever you are, until you get on a horse again tomorrow. Are you going to go ride your horse today or no?
I have 2 other ones.
Oh, so you might. So I think of this a bit like a Barbie doll. It's going to sound funny, but I think it helps us all make sense of it. You can take the Barbie doll's leg and pull it out of the socket. It's a lot harder to stick it back in once that happens. But you can. You got to like finagle it, right? I really think most of us have one thigh that comes more out of the socket. How many of you with your legs crossed right now can only feel the seat bone of the one that's not crossed, right? So the thigh that you tend to do this with might be the seat bone that you tend to lose. Yeah, if you were going to cross your legs, you'd cross your right over the top. And so your pelvis is like, hey, let's rotate left. And so this, it is like we have to take this right Barbie leg and go up in the socket. So now your right seat bone's way closer to her spine. Now let it go. Let your right leg go. And over time, as you were riding, weight would go down and down and down in your right foot, and then you start to rotate back. Okay. So as we kind of take that one thigh and click it back in the pelvis, it does move the pelvis back over the center. Now right now you're really too far that way, but that you weren't doing that in the riding. So I'm going to have you, since I have 2 more minutes, I'm going to have you, as long as you're comfortable, sit your seat bone on my hand. So stand up, sit down. Don't worry about my hands. Okay, don't worry, I do this all the time. So that's a good right seat bone, right? But now rotate feel how as I do. Oh, that, yeah, you push your heel down and put your right seat bone right up into your bum. And release the foot a little bit. Good. That's the right seat bone we're looking for in those weeks.
So if I put my thigh on one.
Then you get a better sit bone. Okay, so you remember that we're gonna talk about the pelvis tomorrow, your right seat bone, and make sure we do that in both lead and canter. And I'll trade you the sponges for the whip. She doesn't want to give me the sponges. Okay, so anything you want to say out loud that you feel in your body that you're noticing as you go, and it is okay if it's like, this feels like hard work, right? Yeah, but it's hard work in your own mind-body connection, right? Because so much of riding lessons is all about get the horse to do this, get the horse to do this, the horse is not doing this, and that's not telling
I
you.
want them to tell me what I should do to make the horse do what they want.
Yeah,
It's like,
you gotta put forth.
It's like, make the connection, well, how do I do that?
Right,
It's like,
right.
get a better canter. How do I do that?
Exactly.
Tell me what to do with my body.
Yes, ma'am. This is how I've made my career, right? Is that we can change the rider to pretty easily affect changing the horse, you know? It's hard work for you in terms of what you're doing differently. But man, did she just go out to the contact? She never went behind the bit. She just went to the bridle. And that was really super. Hard work for you, yeah. But you were not kicking, you were not, you know, she was willing. Now she's gonna yawn. She's like, that's great, guys. I'm tired now.
Should I bring her to do it?
That's up to you. That's up to you. Because you probably do the same pelvis thing on your other horses too.
I do.
Yeah. So it's fine if you want to do another one. I don't mind either way. If you have one that is even more challenging for you than this one, that you feel is gonna not be, you know, if your spook sponsor's gonna come here and be beside stuff and you're not gonna be able to get anything done, then maybe don't bring that one.
I have another one that just like, she's the opposite of her, she's like very low. And I have it's hard for me to get her to.
Stay with you. Okay. Yeah, that would be fine.
She wants to run through the Bible.
Mhm. This is gonna be a big deal. It really is. All right. Good job. Good job.